personally, here's where I think they didn't do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season, and I don't think she got the credit that she deserved.
Welcome back to Basketball Strike. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because this story is about to get intense. Do you remember when Sheryl Swoopes made those controversial remarks? Well, Kelsey Mitchell has finally reached her limit. After months of remaining quiet, sticking to polite press answers, and staying above the constant media chatter, the Indiana Fever veteran has officially snapped back. She didn't just respond, she detonated a truth bomb that sent shockwaves across the WNBA and completely changed the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark. Mitchell decided that enough was enough. It was time to shut down the noise and put respect back where it belongs. During a recent interview, Mitchell was asked about her long journey with the Indiana Fever. The interviewer noted that her first 6 seasons were incredibly tough, full of struggles and losses, before asking what caused the big turnaround in the last 2 years as the Fever finally began making the playoffs again. They wanted to know how she viewed the team's organic growth and transformation. But this wasn't some casual exchange or a feel-good soundbite meant to fill airtime. No, Mitchell's words hit differently because of who she is and everything she's been through. When Kelsey Mitchell speaks, she's not just reciting media lines. She's speaking from experience, from years of surviving in one of the WNBA's most challenging environments. She's lived through the darkest days of Indiana basketball, the losing seasons, the roster instability, and the endless rebuilds. She's endured coaching changes, blowouts, and moments when the franchise seemed forgotten. Yet through all of it, Mitchell stayed loyal. She kept showing up, dropping buckets, and carrying the Fever when it felt like no one else could. Kelsey Mitchell isn't just a player, she's the foundation of the Indiana Fever. So, the real question is, do you stand with Kelsey? Let us know down in the comments below. When the topic turned to Caitlin Clark, Mitchell's response was honest, measured, and full of admiration. She said, "And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. As a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever. You have to respect that. I love having her as a teammate because she's handled everything with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to make this thing happen. It took a lot of big pieces to make what we have now." That's exactly why Mitchell's interview resonated so deeply. When you ask Kelsey Mitchell about Caitlin Clark, you don't get a rehearsed media-friendly answer. You don't get some empty, "She's a great teammate" cliché. You get truth, raw, genuine, and unfiltered. This was more than praise, it was a reality check. Mitchell didn't just compliment Clark, she confirmed what many fans already know but what certain critics refuse to accept. Caitlin Clark has transformed the basketball landscape. She's not just a rising star or a scoring phenom, she's a cultural force in a jersey. And coming from someone like Kelsey Mitchell, who could have easily felt overshadowed by Clark's fame, that acknowledgement is monumental. At one point, Mitchell looked straight into the camera and said, "You've changed the world in so many ways. You've done it with so much grace, and I'm so happy to move forward with you, to be part of this experience. And I want to tell you, give yourself some grace, kid. You've done things not many people can do, and from me to you, I'll always be a fan. I'll always be in your corner. I'll always be in your backcourt." Those words weren't just powerful, they were healing. Mitchell was essentially saying, without Caitlin, none of this happens. The sold-out crowds, the primetime broadcasts, the global attention, Clark brought that energy to Indiana. And instead of being resentful, Mitchell embraced it. There was no jealousy, no side comments, no defensiveness, just genuine respect. And here's what makes that moment sting for someone like Sheryl Swoopes. This wasn't empty flattery. It was respect grounded in balance. Because while Mitchell acknowledged that Caitlin Clark has revolutionized the game, she also subtly reminded everyone that before Clark ever put on a Fever jersey, she was the one keeping the franchise alive. The interviewer even brought that up, saying, "You've been with Indiana through thick and thin. You stuck around when things were rough, and now you're in the semifinals. What does that feel like?" And for all the young people watching, whether they're athletes or not, what does it mean to stay the course and finally see everything come full circle? It's a powerful reminder of what Mitchell has endured. This is the same player who carried Indiana through 5-win seasons, who kept putting in work when the stands were half empty, while some veterans, now working as media personalities, spent their time throwing shade at Caitlin Clark. Kelsey didn't need to insult anyone. She didn't need to clap back. She just told the truth. She laid it all out clearly. She kept the franchise alive, and Caitlin brought the spotlight. Together, they've built something the Fever haven't had in years: hope. That's why this moment mattered so much. Sheryl Swoopes, despite being a basketball legend, has spent the better part of a year questioning Clark's achievements. She's accused her of being overhyped, doubted her accolades, and suggested her popularity was manufactured. But Kelsey Mitchell's comments shut all that down. She didn't just defend Caitlin Clark, she defended the evolution of the WNBA itself. She reminded everyone that Clark isn't here to erase history, she's here to expand it. When asked again about the Fever's turnaround and what fueled the team's organic growth, Mitchell gave credit where it was due. "Oh man," she said, "I think a big shout out goes to the organization for taking the time to rebuild. Our draft picks have been huge. Lexi Hull was a big one, then you get Caitlin, then you get Aaliyah Boston. When you combine that with my experience and everything I went through before they got here, it just felt like a match made in heaven. I was still young enough to connect with them, to vibe with them, to understand who they are as people. Then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world and the dynamic of basketball, and as a friend and player, you grow to appreciate her because certain doors have opened because she came to the Fever, and you have to respect that." The brilliance of Mitchell's answer is in how effortlessly she celebrated Caitlin while exposing the insecurity behind Swoopes' criticism. Because if someone like Kelsey Mitchell, who had every reason to feel overshadowed, isn't bitter, then why is Sheryl Swoopes? Why is a Hall of Famer spending more time tearing down Clark than celebrating the way she's elevating the game? That's the uncomfortable truth Mitchell just made impossible to ignore. This wasn't just another interview. It was a statement. A moment of leadership from one of the league's most loyal veterans, who drew a line in the sand and declared, "Enough is enough." Kelsey Mitchell has endured the losing seasons, carried the team through the rebuilding years, and now, alongside Caitlin Clark, she's ready to lead Indiana into a new era. Because leadership isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about standing tall when the moment demands it.